The Place Where Nothing Is Real. Stories by M.A. Katz-Savoy. Copyright 2014, MLMC Gothic and Main. Hammerman. "You always make the best Joe," his cousin said, pouring himself a second cup. "So what the fuck is wrong with this guy Jackass? The way he acts, you'd think he was the only guy who ever went to war. I hate jerks like that." "I hate him too, Ange. Not that it's any secret to you at this point, but what can you do?" Mike was surprised to hear Drew's words come out of his own mouth. Lots, man. You do it. Has to be done." Angelo, who seemed to be talking to himself, got lost in thought for what seemed like a minute before Mike interrupted. "So how's the new site?" "Perfect. Why don't you let me talk to the foreman about letting you help out, Mike? There's always something you can do. Help with measuring, learn to smooth cement, learn a machine maybe. Come on, man." Mike stopped him. "You know how I feel about charity." Ange gave him that same look, the one that always got into his head. He got up to let himself out. "Whatever you say, Mike. Same time tomorrow?" "Sure thing." "I'll bring some more 2x4s from the site. And some galvanized nails, please." "And some galvanized nails." With that, Mike let himself out. Slightly more than a month had gone by when Mike found himself sitting at his work table, nailing yet another board full of nails. He'd gone through 16 that month, more than usual, and he was even using some boards for 2 days consecutively when there was room for more nails. He had suffered through weeks of feeling lonely and alone after Drew and Liz headed to the Northeast for new horizons. He tried as hard as he could to not feel let down, left behind, even betrayed, but loneliness can do that to a person sometimes. When he was in his right mind, he knew that his anger needed to be focused on just 2 people, Angelo and Jackson. He'd had run-ins with both in the last few weeks. Why an assistant to the vice president of academic affairs would seek him out made little sense to him. But choke on a banana, as Mike now liked to call Angelo, seemed to be finding him everywhere. What was worse is the guy could top even Jackson for shit-eaten grinniness. Mike left every encounter thinking he'd been stabbed in the back while being smiled at. At their worst, the encounters made him feel laughed at, like his disability was the butt of some cosmic joke writer, and the 2 sons of privilege were the stand-ups who delivered the punchlines. The month progressed, and he couldn't help but think all his friends had been told to avoid him or else. No one wanted to meet him anywhere or chat with him in public. His grades had gone down because he now hated going to the library. His advisor noticed he'd become more antisocial, and Angelo made it worse by offering almost nightly to get him a job at the site so he could have something to preoccupy his mind. When Ange showed up that afternoon, he had a tool belt with him. Mike could tell his cousin had something on his mind. He seemed less carefree, more occupied. Mike made some coffee, and after they finished 3rd cups, Ange looked at him and asked, "Do you want to deal with this problem or run away from it?" "What choice do I have?" "You always had a choice. You can do something. The question is, are you willing to do what is necessary? Or are you ready to take responsibility?" "Now you're talking in riddles, Ange." His cousin got up and grabbed the handles of his wheelchair. "I hope I'm right about you, Mike. I'm taking a big risk here." "Where are we going, Ange?" "To the work site. I'm going to give you a job." Mike was about to offer his usual objection, but his cousin whisked him out the door. "You got your keys?" "Yeah, Ange." Mike knew that when his cousin was like this, it didn't pay to argue. You did what he said. He was a big, strong guy, too, so he could pretty much whisk anyone off their feet. In Mike's case, he didn't need to. This made Mike feel more helpless, but he also knew that his cousin would never do anything to harm him. Ange had an idea in his head, and Mike had learned that when he did, he was usually right about something. The drive to the site was quiet. Angelo said almost nothing until they pulled up to the locked gate. "We'll be laying some concrete today." Mike looked around for any crews and didn't see one. "But no one's here." "I know," Ange answered. "I gave the crew the afternoon off." Leo, Angelo's foreman, came out of the office then, looking around, and unlocked the gate. They drove through. He nodded to Ange and then to Mike. All Leo said when they got out, and he helped Mike back into his chair, was, "Good man." The 2 wheeled Mike back to where 2 15-foot columns were ready to be poured. The truck was lined up to flow the concrete. Leo said, "We couldn't start without you." Ange asked, "You ready to do what is necessary?" Mike didn't answer, Before his cousin wheeled him to the column on the right, he knew what to expect. Dusty, tied up tightly and gagged, was Jackson. The other jackass is in the other one, Leo said. He spit as if to get a bad taste out of his mouth. Ange got down on one knee and looked Mike in the eye. Look, man, sometimes you have to take preemptive methods to stop evil from eating up good people. What they are doing to you, what they did to your friends, and to others you don't even know, and what they will keep on doing to good people, just because they have money behind their names. You can't let that happen. Leo looked down. Mike, I've been where you are, and I didn't do what was needed. 5 good soldiers died because of an asshole, and because I couldn't do the right thing. Leo looked at Ange with respect. Your cousin? He saved a lot of good people because he wouldn't let it just happen. You don't know this, but it haunts him. It tears him apart. But if you had to do it over again, fuck. Ange said this to no one in particular, but it brought about complete silence. I told you never to talk about that, he told Leo. Leo just looked down and mumbled. The kid needs to know, Angelo. Angelo just looked away, so Leo continued, seeming more confident. He needs to know that sometimes the right thing to do ain't so agreeable. That it might be something that haunts you. That sometimes it's something that could lock you up. Angelo interrupted with another burst of fuck. This brought about complete silence. Angelo broke it finally with the question on all of the 3 minds. We gonna do this? It was all a blur for Mike after that. Leo got into the truck and started the concrete flow. Mike had never seen such fear-widened eyes as he saw now on Jackson. For a split second, he felt sorry for the guy. Then he looked at his cousin. Ange had no expression whatsoever. He was holding a trowel out to Mike. Ange is a good man, Mike thought. He came back from the war a good man. It all flooded back then. Jackson's smarmy nature, his abusive half threats, his self-righteousness, his acting like he was a god or something. Mike spit into the column as the concrete was filling it. Looks like you're going to be that pillar of society after all, Dr. Jackass. He took the trowel from Angelo and continued. And yeah, me too. I'm building something that's going to make a difference to people. It's going to make a lot of lives better. Jackson just grunted and tried to scream. It made him look puny and silly, like the piece of human excrement Mike knew he was. It gave Mike a new sense of purpose. Yeah, I'm doing something to become a pillar of society, because I'm building a foundation. Both Mike and Angelo looked on expressionless as the face disappeared into the concrete. Mike started smoothing the cement, taking his time, making sure that no humps would ever be seen by anyone who wanted to take the time to admire the kind of work good people like Ange and Leo did. When he was done, Angelo said, You earned this. He handed Mike the tool belt. Now let's go pour the left column. Leo started maneuvering the truck into place. Angelo grabbed the back of Mike's wheelchair and started moving him to where Banalo would make his final contribution to the university. Hey, Ange, Mike said. About that job. How about afternoons after my classes? Sounds good, my man, Angelo replied. He patted Mike on the shoulder. Mike smiled as he was being wheeled to the column. I think I'm going to like smoothing cement. When he was done with the second column, Mike looked up at his cousin. Ange, can you do me one more favor? Angelo got down on one knee to look Mike in the face. Whatever you need, my man. You got time to help me get rid of a closet full of 2x4s later.